Podcasting 101 with me, your host, Rachel. This podcast is for female business owners and solopreneurs that are looking to start a podcast that adds to your own already awesome offering. I'll give you helpful advice that you can take away and use in your podcasting journey. I hope to answer those tricky questions that just keep you from starting. Once a month, I'll be joined by other female podcasters. They'll share their journey with you and offer tips and advice they discovered along the way. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about how you'll record your podcast episodes. I have touched on some of these platforms in previous episode, but I just want to go through them in a little bit more detail. So for a solo episode, Audacity is a great platform to record into. I am recording into Audacity right now. And some of the benefits are you can check the level of your mic as you go along. You can see the sound waves forming right in front of you. If you make a mistake, you can stop, you can clip as you go along, which makes things a really speedy process. If you're an Apple user, then GarageBand, you can use that. You can record straight into that and do the editing. I'm not actually an Apple user, so I don't actually know how GarageBand works, but I've seen this come up and I know somebody that does use it. You can also use Zoom. Now, I have talked about Zoom on a previous episode. You could use this to record solo and with a guest. So if you're going to do it with solo, you can just open your own meeting room and record it. And you can also record video here as well. And I have already gone over the audio settings for Zoom. I'll put another link to it in the show notes just in case you've missed it on a previous episode. But there are ways to set your audio settings to get the best out. And so that you sound, and your guests, you can give this advice to your guests as well, so they can sound really good. There are some of the hosting platforms that also offer you to record straight into them. Anchor, which I've mentioned before, is a free platform, and you can actually record directly into this platform. A little tip though, as I discovered the other day when I was doing my research, is that you can record directly into the desktop for solo episodes, but if you want to invite guests, you have to open it on the app to invite the guests. Your guests can join on their desktop, but you have to initiate the recording from your mobile app. I guess this would work from a tablet as well. And another platform that has come up, and actually has come up just during my conversation with Lorna Taylor, who's going to be a future guest on this show, is a platform called Alitu. The interface looks very similar to Anchor, so very simple to use and quite intuitive. You can record straight into your phone or your desktop, and you can invite people on the desktop as well. I watched a demo with this, and it's very, very simple to do. But the extra little thing that Alitu does, which I just found out during my research, is that when you upload the audio, either when you've recorded it or if you've recorded it elsewhere and you're pulling it into Alitu, as you do for Anchor, to publish it, it processes that audio. All this means is that it adds effects on like normalization, standardized volume. These are all things that I would do myself in Audacity, but it does it automatically. I'll go into a little bit more detail about this in another episode. Another platform that I had heard of but hadn't explored till recently, till a friend mentioned that they'd used it for their podcast, is a platform called Zencastr. Now, there is a free and a paid option. I think the free option is up to 8 hours a month, which would be ample for myself for maybe, they call it the hobby podcaster level. So it just depends on how long your episodes are. But what it is works in your browser, and you can send a link to the person you want to join, and you press record. You can do mic checks, you can see their levels, you can see the wave length for both of you, so you know that that it's recording. And it tells you at the bottom there's like a health check, and it'll tell you if there's some kind of problem. Now, I hadn't used this, so I decided to use this platform for my next guest interview, which I recorded today. So let me just tell you a little bit of a problem that I had with it. I hadn't realised this, clearly not done my research enough, is that there are some system requirements to using Zencastr. Now, I just wanted, even though I'm only going to use the audio, I wanted to see the person that I was chatting to. So to do that, you can record audio, but not with video, but show video, but not record it. But there's part of the system requirements is that the person who, your guest, their laptop or computer has to have enough space on there to do that, so it can record a local copy while it's uploading to the cloud, which is 10 plus gig, which is quite a substantial amount of space. I'm not sure whether this is going to be a little bit of a barrier, because I know that my guest didn't have a lot of space on her computer, which I'm guessing now she was just under that limit, which I'm guessing now that was the issue, since I've done a bit of a further research since we got off our call. We ended up recording it in Zoom. Good old Zoom. I've not had a problem with it. And yeah, so I was quite disappointed I didn't get to use it. I thought it looked really smart and easy for the person to get in, but I guess I couldn't see the difference between Zoom and that, because if your Wi-Fi's rubbish, it's going to be rubbish whether it's on Zoom or whether it's on one of these online studio platforms. Maybe you've had a different experience in this. Maybe you've recorded in Zoom and recorded in one of these different platforms and you've got a much better result. This is something that I'm going to be doing some research on, so I will let you know what I come up with. So the next one, as I said, Riverside.fm, this looks different to Zencastr when you go inside it. It's much more professional looking. This is a fully paid service. I think you can trial it for free, but it is a paid service. But you do get a lot more control of it. If you have a podcast manager or a producer that you want to be on your calls when you record, and to give you some help and guidance, whether you're doing them solo or whether you're doing them with some guests, there is functionality for that. And they can check your levels and all those kind of things that will give you that extra layer of support. So that could be really valuable for you if that's something that you really want help with. So that's something to bear in mind as well. It was very impressive. I'll put a little link to all these platforms in the show notes so you can take a look for yourself. I think that what you have to do is have a little look at all these different platforms that are out there and figure out what the best one is for you, for your budget, for your time. If you're outsourcing, your podcast manager or producer will be able to recommend you a platform to use, probably what they're already using, because that's what they know. But they're the best people, if you are outsourcing, to speak to and to get their advice. There is another platform that I came across called Squadcast. This does have a 7-day free trial. It is an all-paid platform. There are lots of different pricing points available. This talks about how the high-quality audio that you'll get out of it, similar to Riverside.fm and Zencastr. So, which I guess is a comparable thing to Zoom, is that the audio settings are more advanced and you can tweak them better to get better sounding audio. I've touched on Alitu. This is about $32 a month. This is a platform that you would use to, potentially record, edit and publish your podcast on. You get the extra functionality of the post-production processing on your audio as well. You can record in the platform. So this is quite a good option to use if you can't outsource. But I've not fully used this platform myself, so I can't fully comment to its capabilities. There is quite a lot to think about there and some new tech to learn. Don't let it scare you. As I said before, if you're planning to outsource, then lean on your producer and podcast manager to give you some advice. If you're doing it yourself, then I think it's entirely possible to do it with the use of Zoom only, or the free platforms. Zencastr has a free option, so you could use that. But if you are going to do it yourself, I would at least recommend you consider using something like Audacity to record your solo episodes. You will just get a much better quality audio from there, and you'll have more control over the elements. If you have any questions about any of the information I've just given you, or you'd like to share your experience, maybe you've used one of these platforms and you can give us insight into those, I would love to hear from you. Please email me or DM me. All my social links are in the show notes. Please get in touch. I would love to hear from you. Next week, I'm going to answer the question, how do I edit my podcast? Thanks for listening. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, share and subscribe. Your support means so much to me. If there's a question or topic you'd like covering, then I'd love to hear from you. Find the podcast on Instagram @RachelBotfield and drop me a DM. Till next time, bye.